So next thing you know, you're up there. Hey, maybe we run a play, try to draw them off sides. It's only 5 yards. Now let's see if we actually get a snap and a pick with the field goal unit on the field.
This has been a weird game so far.
This is a 45-yard attempt. Andrew Glass has already made one.
Georgia's blocked one punt, partially blocked another one.
And now he's made another.
Kent State's kicked another field goal.
One-score game with 3:39 to go in the first.
Ladd McConkey's fumbled the ball twice. They got a touchdown off of one of them. Field goal off the first one. 10 of these points is on basically on Ladd McConkey. This is just Ladd's just having a bad day, man. He's just having a bad day. I don't know that we're not the best team. I think, every team from time to time has a rocky start, and I think that's what we got right here. I think we'll get it turned around. But I mean, if you're gonna have an off day, Kent State's today is the one to have an off day on. So Georgia's probably going to go down the field here and try to get points. So, I mean, we've dropped a few passes, and that's really changed some things. So, I know it's painful right now. Georgia gets it up to about the 27, 28-yard line.
Hi.
After Alabama and
Good morning.
Vanderbilt, it's SEC football final. Dari, Chris, Benjamin, and
Come on.
Theo will cover all the stories of the day and give you a full breakdown of every game. It's SEC football final on SEC Network.
Here we go.
And the ESPN app should start
Did you have a good nap?
30 or whenever
Did you have a good
time
nap?
the doors are done in T-Town.
So right now, it looks like Clemson's also struggling with Wake Forest, so 17-14. Auburn's up by a touchdown over Missouri. Baylor is up by 3 points over Iowa. Michigan's losing to Maryland 10-3. Yeah. And Penn State is beating CMU by a touchdown. So, I mean, everybody's kind of having one of those days today, it looks like. Is that Mom? Is that Mom? Yeah. Here you go. There you go. So, Georgia's back at 30, drops back, dumps it off to, who was that? Dejon Edwards? No, it was McIntosh, Kenny McIntosh. Yeah. Well, it's not how you start the game, it's how you finish it, man. So, but let's leave that alone, honey. No. It's like Georgia's trying to run the ball a little bit. We had some success running it earlier, but we've dropped a couple of passes we really had no business dropping. Well, not just Rocks. I want you to tell me, as of the teams that's played today, who's looked the best. Because Michigan, which has been looked extremely dominant over the past several weeks, is losing right now. Clemson is struggling. So it just seems to be one of those days. Right now, the offense seems to be clicking pretty good. So we're moving the ball pretty well. We just picked up another first down. We're basically running a 2-minute drill, but we don't have any timeouts left. So it's not been the best performance today. Let's see here. I don't know what's going on with him. I think that one muff punt kind of rattled him for the whole game so far. And, I mean, obviously the coaching staff has got a lot of faith in him because they keep going back to him. So, and I expect that will continue. I expect that they'll continue to go to him throughout the game. And by the time we get to the end of the game, he'll be turned around. So, You're watching it in Nigeria. How in the world are you watching it? What are you doing in Nigeria? Take your malaria pills. Georgia just seems to be struggling to run the ball. I know we just picked up a first down here. No, they're saying third down. So, I don't know. I do know that Kent State has lost a few players. Or they've had a few injuries. I don't know if they lost players or not, but I think Kent State just called a timeout. Yeah, they just called a timeout. So my man said, "Got to work somewhere." There's definitely been some inconsistencies today. Stetson's looked a little off with some of his passes. Obviously, the mistakes made by Ladd. Blown coverage on one of those guys allowed for a touchdown. Kirby Smart was all over Ladd McConkey about that muff punt. And then after the second fumble, he just went over there and sat down and hung his head. His teammates were over there trying to pump him up, but it's a lot of it affects your psyche. So we got about a minute 15 left here. I mean, it's nothing really exciting other than I don't know why in the world they wanted to put this on like SEC Plus. It's the number one team in the nation. They ought to be on a regular channel. Should be able to find it. But instead, I had to like log into ESPN's app, put in my service provider, and then watch it through a completely different system. So it makes it difficult to flip back and forth between the other games. So Georgia 3 for 5 on third downs. We're going for it. 3rd and 1 here. We pick up the first down. The turnovers is what's killed us. If you put those back in our hands, we would easily probably have at least 2 more scores. So you're talking another, 10 to 15 points here. And Georgia's trying to get more points right here. So considering the woes that we've had, we've done a pretty good job. Supper time over there. It's crazy. I guess you meant to say Ladd McConkey, but you put in Ladd McKinley. Stetson drops back, kind of floats one, caught by guess who? None other than the legendary Brock Bowers. Man's got like 10 touchdowns today. Ladd McConkey is just a beast, dude. All else fails, throw it to Brock. He's down like the 1 yard line, I think. A great view by that pylon cam. He's just holding his own. He's holding his and everybody else's own. That guy started offsides. They didn't call it. Georgia got down to the goal line. Georgia's probably going to drain time off the clock right here just to let you know. So they'll set the play clock at 40 or whatever it is, and then they're showing 30, but why am I thinking 40? Kent State call a timeout? What's going on? Bennett's upset about something. I don't know what he's upset about. Gray man saying overrated. Sir, if you can turn the ball over 3 times and still be winning by almost a touchdown, that's not overrated. I don't know where you got that from. I dare any team to turn it over 3 times in the first half and still be winning by a touchdown and about to score another one. That don't happen, sir. I don't know. Maybe there was an issue with the game clock or something. I got to turn down so it doesn't overwhelm the mic right here. I think they're running the clock. Why are they holding the ball? Stetson's like, give me the ball. What are you doing? Drop back. Stetson's just going to run it himself. And he got in. There's a flag, but he got in. What's the flag for? I got to turn it up.
Loan with Navy Federal Credit Union?
All good. Thanks again for
We're going to a commercial.
I know it's late back home. I can't imagine where I'd be without you guys.
Hello? Are you still there?
Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Thanks for calling.
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Trying to get, I'm using this bar, trying to get my back to release. Are they going to review that to see if it was a touchdown or not? They're playing the music like it was a touchdown, but I haven't seen it. Let's see. Now it's lagging.
Let's see if Stitch, if he got in.
He's in the air when the ball goes across the line. Of course, that's a touchdown. I don't know what else you need, man.
Get it across that white line.
I mean, it's pretty clear a touchdown to me.
Straight down the line.
Let's see, he is in the air. Ball's over. This is a no call. This is no reason to review this, really.
South Carolina. He was able to find the end zone this time, extending the ball with one hand.
What are they doing? They're still reviewing it.
John Bible, the replay official, would take a good look.
Unless you've got, if you don't have a good camera angle, then you don't have disputable video evidence. There's a goal line cam. Why can we not see that? Why are we looking at a press conference? Why are we looking at somebody's sneakers? The previous play is under further review. I can guarantee you Kirby Smart is going to be screaming his head off when he goes in that locker room at halftime.
But both of the officials on the field never ruled touchdown in the moment. Then they converged afterwards and decided it was a touchdown.
Referees, man, it seems like it gets worse every year.
So the booth can initiate this review and R.
3 turnovers and still winning by hopefully 13 points here in just a second. So here's the down the line shot.
Well, here's your angle.
The ball's over the line. What are we looking at this for? His feet are up in the air. The ball breaks the plane right there. That's clearly a touchdown.
You have enough evidence there.
How do you not have enough evidence there? Are you blind? He's not on the ground. He's in the air. Ball breaks the plane.
Don't know how you would overturn that. And it's the front.
Marcus Freeman, you're out of your mind, sir. You over there wishful drinking.
Break the front edge of the plane. It does look as if he's in there.
I mean, he's clearly over. He clearly breaks the plane. He doesn't even have to break. He doesn't have to break the back side of the line. He just has to break the front side of the line. His whole hand is over the line. He's in the air, hand over the line. Even the shadow's over the line. I mean, that's going to be at least stands, if not confirmed.
Of course, they had to run about, I'm going to say 85 yards for that replay review.
Why is this taking so long, man?
End of the field to get under the hood to see that play. Stetson Bennett does it all, doesn't he? He's been the holder for this team the last few years. Another rushing touchdown, his 4th of the season. Effort has been tremendous.
Jeez. That took way too long. There was no need for that.
Haven't been his best. Well, that drive, he was sensational.
So, Georgia goes out, turns the ball over 3 times, and is still got 26 points on the board. Incredible.
72-yard drive. And the whole goal was try to run the clock down as low as you can.
Stetson throws an interception. Lad McConkey muffs the punt and then fumbles another one. 2 of those result in scores. And Georgia's still winning by 2 scores or more.
The clock had stopped on the scoreboard, but after Kenny McIntosh is
Just saying.
Just saying. The clock continued to run on the opposite end of the field. Official said, hey, look, it's a live ball. The clock's going to continue to run down. Lost a lot of time. Georgia really Could have run out of time there on that possession.
Georgia's supposed to put this ball out of the back of the end zone. They're not going to give them a chance to return it. Kent State does have some fast guys, though.
Kent State will get the football to start the second half. Marquez Cooper coming out.
They are bringing it out. Got him. Oh, get him. There we go.
And he gets drilled at the 16-yard line.
That's a nice lick.
2 seconds to go in the half. Keely Ringo.
Let's do a little
says,
refresh here.
Hello.
Get the scores. Woo! Clemson winning 20-14. That's struggling. Michigan still losing. Penn State winning. Baylor winning at halftime. 3:30 game. Florida-Tennessee game is going to be a good game to watch. And the Arkansas-Texas A&M game later tonight is going to be a good game to watch as well. Oregon should. You know, I'm kind of curious about that Oregon-Washington State game. I think that'll be a good game too. We definitely got to play better in the second half. I don't know what – I mean, the turnovers is what's hurting us, man. Be able to come out and still put 26 points on the board after 3 turnovers is incredible. I mean, Georgia's made some mistakes. I mean, that happens, but Luke Joel says UGA ain't looking like the #1 team today. Who would you say is then, sir?
Kirby Smart is with Tara now.
Coach, you extend the lead there at the end of the second, but some miscues early on with your team. What corrections do you want to see in the second half?
Well, we haven't punted yet, and we've got 3 turnovers. And when you turn the ball over 3 times and you don't get any, it's not a good recipe.
So Georgia hasn't even punted.
Now we're calling the game and what we're doing. We got to protect
turnovers. C-Dog, what's you guys' record this season so far? And would you want to play us right now? Like FCS score. I think anytime you can turn the ball over 3 times and still be winning by double digits, that's a pretty solid football team as far as being able to recover. So, I mean, mistakes happen. It's part of playing football.
Here on the ESPN app. And here they are.
Winning with an injured wide receiver. That's impossible.
Georgia's up 26-13 on Kent State.
Yeah, 26-13.
Challenge the #1 team in the nation.
Here's the thing. Kent State's not beating Georgia. Georgia's beating Georgia.
Coming up in a bit.
Turnovers, man. Muffin a point has nothing to do with Kent State.
It's what propels the champions, the comeback kids, the underdogs.
It's only a half, but it's the first time I've seen UGA play down to their competition in a long time. Could be a compliment, though. Well, Kent State's not a terrible football team. They're not a great football team, but they're not Missouri. I would take Kent State over Missouri. But like I said, whenever you're giving the ball up, you're making those mistakes. I mean, you're going to be lucky to be even in the game. Georgia's winning by double their score. So
America has a long history of systemic.
Yeah, I would say I don't think Kent would beat Oregon though. But I mean, it's definitely got to tighten up in the second half. Georgia should come out and beat the fire out of them. I mean, if Georgia comes out and gets 26 points in the second half, it'll be 52-13.
Billions of transactions against thousands of compliance controls.
So, I mean, you can score 26 points in a half, you're doing pretty good. If you can score 26 points in a half and you turn the ball over 3 times, you know, despite the fact that you've made some mistakes, you're still a pretty solid football team. And if I tell you right now you won a marathon, even though you broke your ankle, you'd have to say, wow, yeah, it's a pretty incredible athlete. It's kind of along those lines. Our running backs don't really look to have the strength that I'm used to seeing, like out of a Nick Chubb or a Todd Gurley. We don't really have that power back. And, you know, Kenny McIntosh, he's okay. Dejon Edwards okay. Kendall Milton's okay, but I don't see a power back. And I'm used to seeing, you know, a guy that can bulldoze people over. And I'm just not seeing that. Well, considering what people thought Georgia were when the season started, I think Georgia's doing pretty good. So I'm certainly not going to complain.
So where are we headed this week?
Odell, I think he just muffed that first punt just because that happens sometimes as a punt return guy, and I think it affected his psyche a little bit. And so he's made a couple of mistakes since then. And he's putting too much pressure on himself. People wanted Milton over Zeus last year, right?
Games that have become rivalries over time, you don't always have to wait to
The mistakes are what's killing us, man.
A couple of cases in point.
So, I mean, Georgia's got to get it figured out. Otherwise, I mean, Georgia will still win this game solidly, but
What's happening
when you're the number one team in the nation, all eyes are watching you.
Tennessee hosts Florida. They have not beaten Florida since 2016, the last time College Game Day was there.
Tennessee hasn't beaten Florida since 2016, but I bet that changes today. Let's see here. You want to talk about struggling? We got Clemson that's only up 6 points at halftime on Wake Forest. You got Michigan, who's up by 4 points against Maryland with 22 seconds left to go in the second half. Penn State is only up by a touchdown. Baylor's only up by 3. As far as I can see, Georgia's the only ranked team that's winning by double digits right now. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Really? They hit it? Or a field goal attempt at overtime? Yeah. I was part of that. I'm on the sideline getting crushed by all the Tennessee fans. Is that right? 100%. All right, how about 2000? What's your story for that one? That was a catch, and even if it wasn't a catch,
I don't think anybody should be worried about UGA football this year. They sleptwalked through the first half. I bet you anything they'll win by about 35 points. Do you agree? I kind of agree with that. I think Georgia's they're gonna address it in the locker room. They'll come out and just absolutely pour all over these guys. Keep in mind, Georgia's depth is a lot deeper than Kent State. So, when you start getting into the second, third, and fourth quarter, when you start getting into the third and fourth quarter, that's when you really start seeing the difference of players being tired and a running game being effective and things like that. Let's not take away the best player on Georgia, Brock Bowers, man. Brock Bowers has been all over the field. Anytime Brock Bowers is on the field, it's like 14 one side of the ball versus 11 on the other. The guy is absolutely incredible. There's a lot of talk about Brock for Heisman, in which I would normally say absolutely, but they always end up giving it to a quarterback. So Georgia should be killing Kent State. I mean, there's going to be times when you make mistakes. This is actually a really good learning opportunity for the football team. I mean, you can address this right here is an excellent learning opportunity because this gets rid of the rat poison. So if you've got teams like, they're the best team of all time or whatever, it's like, really? Well, look how you struggled with Kent State. You got to work. You got to put in the work. And so I think that's what you're seeing.
I don't think Florida can score with Tennessee. I believe the Gators lose this game.
I don't think Ladd McConkey is going to take the second half off. That's not how Kirby and company work. They're going to continue to give him the ball, give him an opportunity to get his confidence back. It's kind of like when and I go back to a quarterback. If you have a quarterback who throws an interception and you immediately take him out, the next time he's in, all he's going to think about is, if I throw an interception, they're going to take me out. And that's going to make him nervous. And guess what he's going to do? He's going to throw an interception. So. Ultra Mega Dog says, C-Dog, can I borrow your hat? I need to cover up some poop. Kind of how I felt after that Texas game, though we looked really bad, way worse than y'all. Yeah. Well, what can you do?
What you do best.
The announcers aren't even talking about the Georgia game. They're not worried about it at all. They're talking about the upcoming Tennessee versus Florida game. And if Florida's not careful, that game will be a blowout. Tennessee will blow them out. If Tennessee's secondary is not bad, and if Anthony Richardson throws even 2 interceptions in that game, Tennessee will blow them out. Their offense is pretty stellar. Please pay Nick Saban $2 royalty for using rat poison. No, that's not happening. Is Bill not playing or on the team anymore? I'm not sure. I haven't really heard about that or looked into it. They're ready to give him. They already gave him that time, and he dropped 2 passes and then fumbled. I understand what you're saying, but nobody was saying that this guy was terrible whenever he was catching all kind of passes in these other games. The guy can't have a couple of bad passes or a couple of bad plays, and all of a sudden you show him that you're going to give up on him. Right now is the time whenever you show that player that even though you're not out there killing it, you're still our guy. We still believe in you. If they will leave Stetson Bennett in whenever he was getting killed in the SEC championship game last year, they're going to leave a wide receiver like Ladd McConkey, and I guarantee it.
Because until that, Arkansas was one of the 2 newest members in that league. 2014, AT&T Stadium, the site, we now know.
Yeah, Georgia's going to turn it up. I mean, in the second half, Georgia's going to turn it up. Georgia's offense is actually doing really well.
Trill Hill.
Big loser of today's game, Missouri. Missouri might end up with a new head coach. Auburn, if Auburn doesn't win that game decidedly, they might lose their coach. They might lose Brian Harsin.
173 and 2 touchdowns.
They already didn't want. There were people that already wanted to get rid of him. So,
in fact, had lost 9 in a row in this series until last season when the Razors.
yeah, I mean, having a wake up call in a game like this in the first half is a great thing because throughout the rest of the season, you can always reach back and point back and say, this is what happens if you don't do the stuff you're supposed to do. If you don't get out there and prepare for the game, this is what's going to happen. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
What is he going to cook up?
I mean, look at how many interceptions that Stetson Bennett has thrown, and they left him in the game. So, I mean,
leads the nation in sacks. But on the defensive back end, they're really not that far off. Like, I know they are.
Well, here's what they do with a lot of quarterbacks. So when you have a quarterback, if he goes out and he throws an interception or two, they will actually make play calls that where he has short completions to start gaining his confidence back. You'll see a lot of that. So we wouldn't be surprised if you see a couple of short passes to Ladd McConkey in the second half to start getting him rolling. What's up, Jay? To start getting him kind of back in a rhythm. And then I guarantee you they target him down the field a couple of times this game. So you'll see it. He'll be fine.
Even though they won that game against Miami last week, it was not
A&M 58% chance to win this game. I disagree entirely, sir. I think Texas A&M is going to struggle with Sam Pittman's Hogs. I think the Hogs are extremely physical. James, I'm probably not going to do the breakfast stuff anymore. We're only getting like 10 or 12 people on there. It takes a lot of time. It's kind of difficult to do. So I'm not going to put in all that effort for 10 people.
You're A&M. I mean, rather Arkansas. Rocket Sanders has been the guy, right?
You're talking a dozen eggs, a pound of bacon, chopping onions, chopping bell pepper, plus grill spray, and getting all the plates and everything out, and mixing up the eggs. It's actually kind of a lot of work. It takes me about, I'll probably say 20, 30 minutes to prep that, and then an hour or whatever it is to cook it, and for 10 people. It's just a lot of work for. I can go buy a sausage biscuit. What's up, RN?
Good stuff. You'll get the 3 of us.
Be a fight in Jacksonville. Are we going to play a different team in Jacksonville? Or are you guys talking about Tennessee versus
path to business success is often
you guys? Because I thought y'all were playing in Rocky Top. I don't think Georgia's going to struggle with. I don't think Georgia's going to struggle with Florida this year. Sorry, RN.
Wherever your company goes, Mercury is there.
This Fergus is just some bullish. Yeah.
Credit cards, wire transfers, and financing, all designed.
Law Tie says struggle bus. I don't want to hear no struggle bus stuff out of y'all. Y'all should have lost y'all's game. Y'all should have flat out lost. Y'all got saved by the referees.
Real-time data-driven precision. Let's create supply chains that have an appetite for performance. IBM. Let's create.
It's what propels the champion.
One thing I can say about Law Tie though, Law Tie doesn't buckle under pressure, even though his team might. He don't. My man put himself on second base, won the game for us.
Criminal investigations into miscarriages.
But remember, today is just the beginning.
So, I mean, what you're looking at right now, some of these early games, they'll be over with here shortly. Clemson's got to figure out what they're going to do with Wake Forest. They should win that game by 10 points or better. Georgia's going to win this game. Baylor should start to pull away. You can rally. Right?
Express Employment Professionals. We put people to work.
Edward says Texas had an injured player. Tied win doesn't count. They're never going to live that down. Never going to live that down. Michigan is in a fight. Yeah. Michigan's in a fist fight. So as bad as Georgia may look right now, I mean, I was really considering Michigan as the potentially second place team in the country. But right now, I mean, it's the score 17-13 at the half. They're only up 4 points against a completely unranked team. That don't look good. Clemson's up 6 points at the half. Penn State's up a touchdown at the half. Baylor's up a field goal.
Let's hear it.
Pittsburgh's up by 10 points, but playing Rhode Island. I mean, it takes every person in the state to make the football team. I mean, as far as the noon games goes, Georgia's in ranked teams. Georgia's the only team that's winning by double digits. So separate the field a little bit. And that's with giving up 3 turnovers. It's crazy. And I really don't understand why it took so long to confirm the touchdown with Stetson Bennett. That was ridiculous. I ain't got no excuses. Who does Alabama play later today? Y'all play Vanderbilt. You better hope y'all don't struggle against Vanderbilt. I will call you straight up, Lawtide. I will call your phone and tell you struggle bus. Candy Vandy. I'm going to laugh if that game's close. Y'all struggle with Texas now.
You know, the one thing that hasn't
So, I mean, it's going to be.
No one can stop Brock Bowers. Right. I mean, we talked about him at the top
Yeah,
of the show.
I think you're right, James.
This is a guy that could do
Brock Bowers is an NFL player. I don't care what anybody else says. He is an NFL player right now. If they had to draft tomorrow, he'd be a first-round pick, guarantee it.
For any Georgia player, but of course he takes it
And he should be back next year. That's even scarier.
in the end zone. 2 touchdowns on the ground for Brock Bowers. And of course, he's been catching the football as well.
Jordan is just – some days you have an off day, man. Some days you have an off day. You make mistakes. Georgia is fortunately good enough that they are still – they gave up the ball 3 times. They still have 328 yards of offense in the first half, and they've had the ball for 18 minutes of the first half. So, I mean, you can say what you want to about making mistakes, but if you're making those kind of mistakes and you're still this far out in front – imagine if you hadn't just made those couple of oops, is what it would be. I mean, there was a touchdown pass to Lamb McConkey in the end zone that was dropped. There was a big pass downfield to Beal or somebody downfield. He dropped it. Georgia has gotten, I think, 3 or 4 sacks so far, which is more than they've had all season. So, but they did allow a sack against Stetson Bennett. So the stadium still looks pretty full. But I mean, it's a great day to be in Athens watching football for sure.
Interesting first half to say the least. Fueled by turnovers by the number 1 team in the country.
Georgia, no, he wasn't short at the line. It was 19. The score was 19-13, and we got the touchdown. I don't know how he was short. Ball was over the line.
Those are easy runs after catch when you don't. We're just getting started on a full day of college football later today at 4 Eastern. Number 16.
Oh, I bet you he did too.
Tulsa, and then Alabama
I bet you lit him up.
7:30.
Absolutely.
On SEC Network and available here on the
Well,
TS
looks like we're finna get started here, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off, but we'll see you guys here in a little while. God bless. Go Dogs.
Money. Everything I'm wearing, I've had since